Hi, welcome to my video on the second derivative. And this video is how to find the inflection point. And the inflection point is a point where the polynomial, a concavity changes from going up to going down. So it's a positive concavity opens up and negative concavity opens down. So let's look at the steps to find the inflection point of this polynomial. Notice it's written as a x to the n, b x to the n minus 1, etc. So we have to find the first derivative, y prime, second derivative, y double prime. We let y double prime equal 0. Solve that equation for x, and we substitute those values of x into the initial equation of the polynomial. So let's find the inflection point of each. So let's do the first derivative. 1 times 3 is 3, and degree drops. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 times 2 is 12, and 2 subtract 1 is 1. And negative 4x is just negative 4 because it's a linear and the slope is negative 4. Or 1 is understood to be here. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And 1 subtract 1 is 0, and x to the 0 power is a 1. And this is a constant whose derivative is 0. Remember, derivative is the slope of the tangent. We got a constant, which is a horizontal line. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. Y double prime, 3 times 2 is 6, and the degree drops 1. And 12x, the derivative is 12. Derivative constant is 0. So y double prime equals 0. So 6x plus 12 equals 0. 6x equals negative 12. Divide by 6. X is negative 2. Now we're going to sub 2 into the cubic equation. Sorry, negative 2 into the cubic equation. So we get a negative 2x cubed plus 6 negative 2. So we're putting negative 2 in the place of x, negative 2 cubed, 6, putting negative 2 in the place of x, putting in negative 2 in the place of x, and we simplify. Powers is negative 2 cubed is negative 8, and negative 2 squared is 4, 6 times 4 is 24, negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8, plus 2. So the 8's cancel, and I get 26. So the inflection point is x is negative 2, and y is 26. Okay, let's do the next one. And again, we have to do the first derivative, which is y prime. Negative 1/3 times 3 is negative 1. And 2, take away 1, is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And we drop the exponent, subtract 1 from it, gives us a 1. So we do the second derivative. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. X, 2, take away 1 is 1. And the derivative of a linear is the slope 4. And so y double prime is equal to 0. So that means negative 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. Negative 2x is negative 4. Divide by negative 2, x is 2. So we'll sub the 2 into the polynomial equation. So we're subbing 2 in. Negative 1/3, 2 cubed. And we got 2 squared. So put 2 here and 2 here. Work it out. 2 cubed. PEMDAS says we got a square first, or cube first. Powers. 8. So that's a negative 8 over 3. And we do the power first by PEMDAS. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. So the common denominator is 3. So we put a 3 here. That's 8 over 1, 3, and 1 divided into 3 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. Common denominator is 3. Negative 8 and 24 is 16. And so we have the inflection point, x is 2. And 16 over 3, or we could say 2 and 5 and 1/3. 3 goes into 16, 5 times 1 left over. So those, again, we have a cubic, and a cubic derivative, first derivative goes to a quadratic, and a quadratic next derivative goes to a linear. That happens in both of these. Find the inflection point of f of x equals 1 over 12 x to the fourth negative 1/6 x cubed minus x squared plus 5. This is the quartics, degree 4. So the first derivative is f prime. And 4 times 1/12 is 1/3. The 4 becomes 3. 1 over 6 times 3 is a negative 1/2. And 3 becomes 2. And negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. X to 2, take away 1 is 1. And that's a constant term, no linear term. Derivative of a constant term is 0. Now we'll do the second derivative. And 1/3 times 3 is 1, so that's an x squared. Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1, just an x. And derivative of negative 2x is negative 2. So we have to do the second derivative make it equal to 0, so that means that x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. And let's see if it's factorable, because we got a quadratic, x and x. Product is negative 2, so it's 2 and 1. Product is negative 2, sum is negative 1, so it has to be a positive and a negative. Oh, there's a 1 there. Almost made that error. So the x is negative, so the negative 2 is negative and the 1 is positive. Multiply, negative 2 times 1, negative 2, add, negative 2 and 1 to get negative 1. So x minus 2 is equal to 0. X plus 1 is equal to 0. X is 2, or x is negative 1. Now, we got two values, so let's take x is 2 and sub it into this equation here. So we have the f of 2. We're subbing that in. So we're putting 2, so that's 1/12, 2 to the fourth minus 1/6, 2 cubed, subtract 2 squared plus 5. So I put the 2 here, and here, and here, and I work each of these out to PEMDAS. It gives me, do the power first, 8, 2 to the fourth, it's not 8, it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, so that's 16 over 12, minus 2 cubed is 8, so that's 8 over 6, and 2 squared is 4, negative, plus 5. Okay, so reduce the fractions, so let's see what happens. So 4 into 16 goes 4, 4 into 12 goes 3. Factor here is 2, 2 into 8 goes 4, 2 into 6 goes 3. And we add these to get a 1. They cancel out, so we get a 1. So that means when x is 2, the inflection point is x is 2, y is 1. Now we work it out again for negative 1. And again, we're putting a negative 1 in the place of x, so the f of negative 1, 1/12, negative 1 to the fourth, negative 1/6, negative 1 cubed, and we have a negative 1 squared. So I put a negative 1 in place of x. So we do our powers first. Negative 1 to the fourth is 1, so it's a 1/12. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1, so that's a plus 1/6. Negative 1 squared is 1, so it's a negative 1, plus 5. And we need a common denominator for the fraction, so 12 is a common denominator. So 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 1 is 2, that's a 4. So that gives us 3 over 12 plus 4. 3 over 12 is 1/4 because they divide by 3. and that gives us 4 1/4. And so the inflection point when x is -1, y is 4 1/4, or we could say 4.25. So this cortex has 2 inflection points. And that's how we find the inflection point based on the polynomial. And not every polynomial has an inflection point. Remember that. If you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.